and this is a Bullnose 1428 MG. It was made in 1926. There's very few of these left now. Apart from old number 1, this is the only Bullnose still running in England at the present time. And there's only a handful of them known. This car had quite an interesting history before the war. It was owned by one Eric Fernyhough, who had a workshop at Brooklands in England, which is the old motor course, racing course. And he was a great motorcycle racing man, and in 1936 he held the land speed record for solo motorbikes. He drove a Brough Superior and attained something like 160 odd miles an hour, I think. In 1938 he was killed trying to increase that record to around 180 miles an hour when his machine took off and he was killed. His partner in the business took this car over from then, and he kept it until the 50s, when it was sold through a couple of times and then finally bought by a Lytton Jarman, who's the great authority on early Morris cars, from which MG developed. And he had the car for 30 years until I bought it about 3 years ago. You can still see Fernyhough badges on the car inside, and I have a special aluminium cylinder head which Fernyhough developed at Brooklands back in the 30s. This is an 1800cc four-cylinder side valve motor. This has a single SU carburetor bolted directly on the side of the block there. Underneath you have a petrol tank is behind the scuff, what we call the bulkhead here, filled through the cap here, and this is a sight gauge to tell you how much petrol you've got in, and it falls by gravity to the carburetor, so you don't have any pump problems on this car. Here is a light. You turn it and you've got light under the bonnet in case of a breakdown at night. So they thought of a lot of things in those days still. There's no fan. There's a fan on this driven by a Whittle belt, but there's no pump on the engine. But she runs very sweetly. There's no oil, high pressure oiling system is only to the mains. The big ends are split, fed by a splash. There's a tray in the bottom of the sump where they hit and throw the oil about. And it seems to go all right like that. We only broke a half shaft coming over the Green Mountains, but we managed to fix that the next day. And she seems to be going all right now. But we hope not to break another one because that's the only one we got. I mean, this badge is particular to this model, and you'll see the Morris Oxford badge in the middle, which was what the chassis is, basically a Morris Oxford chassis, and MG or Cecil Kimber bought rolling chassis from the Morris works and put his own, what was then considered a sporting bodywork on it. It's lighter in weight, it's got aluminium body, and he lowered the steering from the standard Morris to give the lower line and the more sporting look. But it was basically a Morris Oxford chassis and engine, and around the outside he's put the MG Super Sports, which is another name for this model, the MG Super Sports. On this, in the Bullnose car, this was made by Morris Garages before the MG car company certainly was formed. These were built in Oxford rather than Abingdon. The early cars were built in Oxford, and this car has a plate under the doorstep to confirm that, which says the Morris Garages, Oxford. And on the dashboard of this car, the previous owner's nameplate from Brooklands is fixed to the dashboard, and in the middle on the center panel we have a small medallion there which says the MG Super Sports. That's unique to the Bullnose 1428 model.